Okay, great. Now that we've talked about posting work in your classroom just as a general place and how to locate that, let's dive right into the detail of creating an assignment because there is a little bit here to go into. So we'll really just focus on this in this video. So the first thing you see are the two drop downs at the top. When you create an assignment, you do not need to create it multiple times. You can actually select the classes you want to post this assignment to, as well as differentiating the assignment for your students. So yes, it defaults to all students, but if you want to uncheck this and then select which students you want to post this to, that literally means those students, when logging in, will see that assignment and everybody else will not. That's a great way to not only differentiate among levels, but also if you have groups of students doing projects. Group A may require one assignment where Group B needs something else. Title your assignment here. And this is an instructions field. It's optional. A lot of people will use this to, to further increase their understanding of what is required. The points here in my building, we just usually leave this at 100. It is important to note that there is really no connection to our Synergy system. There's just sort of a loose grade book within Classroom. And so what this means is, of course, when you grade it, it'll be assigned and graded, but just kept in the grade book inside of Classroom. The due date is nice to include because once it is overdue, the students will get an alert there on the side of their page. It'll turn red and it'll say that is overdue. The topic is that piece we've discussed earlier in another video where we have been using sessions 1, 2, and 3. You can create your own topic here if it already doesn't exist, or just leave no topic at all, and it'll just sort of float there on your classwork page, but not be under a specific category. Now at this point, you want to ask yourself, what is the assignment? You want them to access a web page? Do you want to upload a YouTube video? Or rather, it's not an upload actually, it's just a link to the YouTube video. Or do you want them to create a Google slide presentation or work on a Google Doc? Whatever that might be, that sort of will dictate your next step here in the assignment creation process. We'll start right down here at the bottom of this window. You have some small icons here. Starting at the right, this is a hyperlink. So you can, if you need every kid to access a page and you want to do it in an efficient way, you can drop the link right here into your Google class page, and so when they all log in, they immediately have access to that web page. The YouTube link is just what it sounds like. Let's show you what that looks like when you click a YouTube link here. Okay, this is where you can search for a video you want all of your students to access, but if you already happen to have found and copied that web link, click the URL at the top and then drop it right in here. I'll paste it and the video will show up, and when you hit add, that drops it in, and this is how the students will see it, and of course they can immediately access that video. Now if you don't want to send them out to a video or a web page in general, but you want them to create a document, you can just leave this blank and assign it to your kids, and at that point the students will access it and then do what they need to do. However, a lot of teachers like to upload what we're going to call a template, just for lack of better words, and that template can be something you want every student to see and to start with in an assignment. Oftentimes this is easier if you have some formatting, or if you want if you have requirements that you want them to put in there. You can create and build whatever you need to do, save it in your Google Drive, and then upload it to your Google Class here. Now what happens when you do that is that every kid can get a copy. So let's take a look at that. This Drive icon is where you can access everything on your Google Drive, and I'm just going to grab this document here. And at this point, this is critical. It's very important, because if you assign this quickly without taking this last step, you will not be able to edit this type. Now you'll notice by default, this document will show up for students to view. There is another option for them to edit the file. That really is probably one you want to avoid, because that means literally every person who has access to the file can edit. But this last option here, make a copy for each student, is what it sounds like. So it's just like handing out a stack of papers in your room. This will make a copy of this document, put the student's name on it, and it will save that as a template in the student's Google Drive folder, as well as your own Google Drive folder. There's a folder that's created automatically, and it's called Classroom. In fact, if you go to your Google Drive, after you created your Google Class, you will see a folder there called Classroom. And inside that Classroom folder will be a folder for each one of your classes. And then inside of that is a folder for each assignment. So again, this is nice because now let's just say, Johnny opens up his Classroom page, finds this assignment, and when he just clicks this particular document, it will open up automatically with the title of the document and his name in that title. I do hope that explains it without making this video too long. Let's close out of this program, or this document here. And this last piece is basically just something you want to attach. You may have something on your actual Classroom computer, but not in your Google Drive, and that lets you select the file there. So to sum up, you do have the ability to post an assignment just like this, where a student creates his own file and then uploads it to the Classroom. Or you can come down here and choose your own file you want every student to start with, and then make that a copy for every student. Hopefully this clarifies things a little bit, and then go ahead, of course, assign that. And in a subsequent video, we will talk about how to create questions, materials, and reuse posts.